pros. Yo, you there? All right. All right, Shalom. So yeah. So man.
Farsighted.
It says having or showing imagination or foresight. Okay. And the name of this lesson is entitled Become and Remain Kingdom Sighted. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and play.
Reading has helped me kind of get away from the game a little bit.
LeBron James has been taking an unusual approach to improving his playoff numbers.
James turnaround jumper drills it. He is knocking down everything. This is an incredible performance.
At shoot-arounds, he's often got a book. At his locker pregame, while he's icing postgame. On the training table, always with a book.
It's the first time I've really done it. I haven't read this much. I guess probably since I was in high school. So much of our life is consumed with basketball, and sometimes it's really just to get your mind away from it, do something else, and then when it's time to get back on the court, you come back and get ready to play.
He's taking on a little Tolstoy right now.
War and Peace? Not yet, but James' reading list has been varied. Jay-Z and Jerry West's autobiographies, The Tipping Point, The Pact, and the entire Hunger Games trilogy. But raising even more eyebrows has been when James reads, often within an hour of tip-off as a way to alleviate pressure and clear his head.
You spend so much time with preparation for the game, sometimes you just need to kind of just a little bit, just get away from it for a little bit, so you don't get overblocked.
He needs his time. He needs his space to go somewhere else, to put himself into a different mindset before he come out here and run out on this court where he's the most watched athlete in sports.
I don't care if you, put together a Lego building of the Capitol Dome to be ready for a game. As long as you go out and score 40 like that guy can, by all means do it.
James fires a three.
James says the books have also been invaluable in keeping him away from television and the internet during the playoffs, so he's not hearing as many other people's opinions on his play. It's a tactic that's caught on throughout the Heat locker room. The Hunger Games books have been passed around, as has a biography of Malcolm X. Is a Heat book club next?
Would you have to guess who would be the leader of the book club? It'd probably be Shane.
Or maybe after the season we can get together and discuss. Serve some tea and some crumpets.
It was relaxing, honestly. I'm able to zero in once I'm done and be ready for the games.
Okay, Con. All right, so yeah. Okay. Call online. Yahweh. Double honors to the hopefully elect elder apostle slave to be saved. Lord willing, start with those at the great millstone church, go down to the rest under this doctrine from you elder brothers teaching the truth, the elder brothers teaching this truth, on down to you younger brothers, the younger brothers teaching this truth, and all true faith and sincerity, giving all diligence. Okay. To the men here at our church, here in my congregation, our Lord's congregation, my camp. Hey, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah, Shalom, Wa Shalom. And to the rest of you believers, you men, women, and children, all right, in on this faith also, the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, to you Shalom as well. All right, ultimately to the elect, those that will go to be found to have in the house of David. So yeah, this is, as you see, it's going to be titled Become and Remain Kingdom Sighted. And it's a fine, it's pretty much doing the work, the brothers. And someone said, the Spirit had hit me like pretty much kingdom sighted. All right. It was pretty much, it's in synchronicity, if you will, with some the brother from the GMS Mississippi camp had said, Brother Kazak was from the other brother, Lahab, which is pretty much pre-chariot mindset. And that's this what we have, which we have entered into is an environment of elevated minds. Those that are clear in their mind on what life is, what life isn't, what we're here for, what's to be going on, and what's the duty, man. What's required. All right, and that's ultimately to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah and receive this kingdom, to get the incorruptible crown. That's what is seen, by those that are clear-minded, that have stepped into this truth. All right. Now, you've seen the video. Pretty much, this particular thing that the Spirit hit me with, as far as being farsighted, it came in thought process of really being farsighted, because in order to even think about a chariot or getting on a chariot, you have to You have to truly be farsighted, but not only be farsighted, you have to, in specifics, you have to be kingdom sighted. You have to be house of David sighted. You have to be what will Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah sighted? These particular things, but just simply saying it, you have to be kingdom sighted ultimately. And we're going to pull this word back up. Farsighted. Okay. Make sure. Thought I could wing it like that, but I can't. Okay.
Farsighted.
You got it, brother.
Time. It says seeing or able to see for a great distance.
See, that's what being farsighted is. Being farsighted is actually being able to see, right, or at a far great distance. You see, and that's why Paul, he wrote, if you can get that, brother, 1 Corinthians in the 9th chapter. I want to say, what's that, the 26th verse? How no, that ain't it. Give me Baruch Shah. He pressed towards the mark, but you can also hold that too. That 1 Corinthians in the 9th chapter. Okay. Yeah, he presses towards the mark, man.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, bring that. Yeah, hold that. All right. So, matter of fact, go ahead and bring it up. You got it.
Yeah, this Philippians chapter 3 and verse 14. It says, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach.
Yeah. So just like every NBA player, right, that has entered into a new season, in which the season is laid out on what it's going to be, the condition of it, the condition of that battle. That's for an NBA player, their battle was the season, and the condition of that season is what, 82 games, okay, and you have to win so many, in your conference, just simply put, you have to pretty much come out of that situation, man. You have to wage war and win all those games you need to win, and then before going on plan, you have a goal at mind. You know, it's a goal that's at the end of all of that. It's a purpose that's at the end of all of that. It's something called, you know, the so-called NBA championship, you know, which is that corruptible crown. You see, matter of fact, give me that real quick, Bible shot.
Yeah, Kai. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and 25. Or should I start at 24?
No, you got it straight to the point.
Yeah, Kai. Verse 25. And every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things.
Right.
Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
this you can use this going into these niggas in the world. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the LeBrons and stuff like that, you know? And the Lord did set them up because they are to be an example for us. Okay? So when you jump back to I got something real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 11. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. You see that? His incorruptible spirit is in all things. So that's the NBA season spiritual. You know, an NBA player is if you spiritual, that's a spiritual thing. You know, a professional athlete, you know, in a sport known as basketball, that's a spiritual thing. You know, because they have to be at the highest level. They have to do things to obtain, you know, the reward of that profession. You see what I'm saying? And in that regard, in this particular regard, I'm talking about being a professional basketball player in the likes of the NBA. Your reward would be what? It would be that NBA championship. You see, which is like their crown at the end of the season. You know, but it's a crown they see at the beginning of the season. You see, and if you're serious, you have to be. But in between, right? It's you, and in between, and then ahead of time, you see what? They see the NBA crown, right? But in between the two, you know, you two is what? 82 games. You know, that's months, that's years, that's traveling. You know, that's experiences that's going to happen in between. They're probably going to break their leg. They probably going to, catch a cold. You know, I ain't gonna say they probably gonna break their leg. They can break their legs, you know, due to, you know, just how they plan, you know, the intensity of the play, you know. But point being, in order for them to really consider that at the beginning, what's at the end, which is that NBA crown, right? That NBA title, they have to be ultimately farsighted. You see that? If they serious. And those that are actually serious about that, you're going to see it in their play. You know, they have to see that ahead of time and do the things that they know that's at the end, that's laid up for them at the end, if they go through the course, you know, in order to properly do that, right, and perceive that to be just like how I explained by the Spirit, they have to be farsighted. And when you read this word farsighted again, it says what? Seeing or able to see for a great distance. You see? Having or showing imagination or foresight. And we're going to come back to this. Okay? If you can read that one more time, brother.
Yeah, Kai. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 25. And every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things.
Yeah. See? Come on.
Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
See that? So it's spiritual, man. Remember, I just read how the Lord's Spirit is in all things. His incorruptible spirit is in all things. That's including the concept of being a professional basketball player, wanting to be the greatest, you know, and that being determined whether or not you get that title at the end, you know, whether you beat all obstacles, you know, whether you go through the straits, which will be the season. You know, you being the greatest, you being a success story, you being successful, it ultimately comes down to winning that shit, because it's a saying in the world, they say, you know, sometimes you gotta lose battles to win the war. So you don't necessarily even have to win every game. You don't even have to be necessarily the projected, you know, on paper, if you will, to, you know, win the championship. You might be the 8th seed for those that know basketball, you know, the NBA basketball stuff, right? But that, you know, for you to go on and win a championship, you see? So that, once again, like I said, that's a spiritual thing, man, that the Lord will set something up like that for it to be what? A spiritual example for us, man. You know? Now, we're gonna jump really quick to 1 Corinthians, and we're gonna jump to chapter 2. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, and jump down to verse start at 12.
Okay.
Come on.
1 Corinthians 2 and 12. Now we have received not the spirit of the world,
Mm-hmm.
but the spirit which is of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Mm-hmm.
that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Spirit teacheth,
come on.
comparing spiritual things with spiritual.
That's a spiritual thing, because upon doing something great, deemed as great, right? You have to, or getting something great, you have to go through, you know, according to the scriptures, you have to go through something to get that. For example, if you go to 2 Ezra 7, and the point of getting this was what? To show that this is spiritual. We just comparing spiritual things with spiritual. We're going to show that this is in fact spiritual, and then we're going to go ahead and tie it home. You know, Adawan Ratazah. 2 Ezra in the 7th chapter, and you can start at verse. You can start at 3.
Yep. 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 3. And I said, speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place.
Yeah, come on.
That it might be deep and great.
Yeah, it's a lot. You can get out the sea. If it's deep and great, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot you can get out of it, man. You know, you know, it's capacity there for a whole lot. You know, obviously, but come on.
But put the case, the entrance were narrow,
Mm-hmm.
and like a river.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the way to get to that deep, you know, where anything could be at, you know. And then really the Lord is he's showing us what that's the depth of the kingdom, because no one can get to the bottom of the sea. You see that? So this is the reward laid up. It's not a cap on the joy that it's going to bring. It's not a cap on the riches it can bring. The experiences, the beautifulness, the woosahs, or if you will, none of that, man. It's not a cap, because the sea, which no one can get to the bottom of, is being used to represent the kingdom of heaven, which is our title, our NBA title, if you will, right? But that's not the point. Go ahead, just yet.
Yeah, kind. So it says, put the case that the entrance were narrow and like a river.
Yeah, so put the case in order to get to this thing, which is actually the kingdom, to see, you know, the way to get to there. It was straight. You know, it's challenging. You know, it's ain't too much room to, you know, ain't no other way. You know, it's this way or no way. Go ahead. So that's the condition to get there. Come on.
Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it?
Man, see? Go ahead.
If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the bride?
See, he couldn't. So that's showing you. Matter of fact, just keep reading. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind. Verse 6, it says, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field.
Yeah.
And is full of all good things.
Mm-hmm.
The entrance thereof is narrow,
Mm-hmm.
and is set in a dangerous place to fall.
Come on.
Like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
Yeah, come on.
And one only path between them both,
Mm-hmm.
even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
See, come on.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how
Pass
shall
the
he
what?
receive?
Do the what? Do what? If he never what?
If he never shall pass the danger set before it.
Set before. See that? Notice that. What's that word? Set before. Before what? It.
Before it.
It's set before it. So you got the thing that you want in between, at the end, on the other side of what's between you and the thing you want. You see what I'm saying? And this might be a distance, but you can still see that thing. You're farsighted then. You have, the ability to see, for a great distance. You have foresight, and this really a power you want to tap into, which we are labeling what? Really being kingdom sighted for us. You want to be able to tap into this because, for instance, as it says, having or showing imagination, you want to tap into that part of it. Because when you do that, you start thinking about, man, it's far away, but man, I just imagine what's there. Imagine the feeling, even though I got to lift all these weights for the NBA players and stuff like that, for us, I'm just tying it home now, catching the hill, learning, putting off old ways, getting in order, relearning how to be men, how to be women. You see what I'm saying? Putting away things that used to be hobbies or crap that's deemed as crap according to the scriptures, putting them things away, no matter how you may feel about it, man. Going through that pain, no pain, no gain. We literally spiritual athletes too. We have a title to get to. That's Yasha Allah. That's the children of God. That's our title, man. If a brother can post Romans the 8th chapter, waiting for the creature longing for the manifestations of the sons of God. That's the title, man. And if a brother can also post Psalms the 82nd chapter, how the Lord said, I have said ye are gods. You see? That's the title we looking to get. You see that? But you want to tap into seeing beyond, you want to tap into, the greatness that's on the other side of what's between you and, that glory, if you will. That's imaginating. You want to get into that because that's going to be the very thing to keep you motivated and going. That's what keep LeBron motivated and going. He had aspirations, obviously, and for being the greatest. And he imagined in his mind, the Lord allowed him to imagine in his mind to, be pretty much seeing esteem in that. The esteem, imagine in his mind the esteem that will come from him, constantly. This man went to the finals like 8 years in a row. He got 4 rings, corruptible crown nonetheless, but they set up for it a spiritual example, which is what we're going into. And the point here was what? Matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and get these scriptures, and then we're going to continue on the point. The brother Light of Israel. Read that real quick.
Yeah, Romans chapter 8 and verse 19.
You know what? Hold it. Just keep going, because the last scripture we're going to get right here links up with those, so we'll get it after that. You got it, bro.
Yeah, kind. Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 9, it says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
So we see that the NBA is spiritual. It was set up, the concept of a professional athlete in a field where you perform at this sport, and the whole purpose is to be great. You see what I'm saying? Like, be great at it and be esteemed, and you get paid a lot of money for this being who you are, and then ultimately your greatness is solidified by if you get that title or not. That whole concept is spiritual because in order to get it, they have to, right? In order for that professional athlete to get it, they have to what? Go through a narrow, you know? You see that? That's synonymous with this. So, and this, what we read in is spiritual because it tells us in St. John, the 6th chapter, that what? The words that the Lord speak unto you is spiritual. These are the words of the Lord right here, man. You see? The angel gave word from the Lord, man. You see? Give me, and when you read this chapter, it actually tell you that the Most High, you know, he gave pretty much this gave him this word, man. You see, he gave him this word to tell him all of this, man. So these are outright the words of, you know, the Most High, man. As we know, you know, we gotta be deep. I'll read this when you jump to the next chapter because it's the same conversation basically. It's a continuation. 2nd Ezra 8:1. He answered me saying, "The Most High, see, hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few." You see that? It says, that's it, man. So he's speaking a word. He's speaking on behalf of the Most High, because, you know. So these will be his words. These will be the Most High's words he's speaking. So this is the Spirit, man. You see, that's the whole point. And the very things that it takes for us to get this kingdom, right? The same concept we see in that, man. You see, so we're comparing spiritual things with spiritual, clearly. All right, now you can read verse 10, and we're gonna jump to 15, brother.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 10. And I said, "It is so, Lord." Then said he unto me, "Even so also is Israel's portion."
Woo! See that? Jump to verse 14. That's it. It's locked. This will be it.
Yeah. Verse 14, it says, "If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things."
See, if then who?
If then they
Who what?
they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things.
See, that's heavy, man. Go ahead.
They can never receive those that are laid up for them.
Yeah, if you don't win so many games, if you don't, zone out away from the distractions, if you don't block out the distractions, you ain't gonna get the title, man. You see that? And that's the Spirit. Now we can bring out what the brothers got. You got it. Light of Israel, brother the war.
Yeah, kind of. Romans chapter 8 and verse 19. It reads, "For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God."
Yeah, and that's the title. You see? So real quick, if you can read First Corinthians 9 and 25 one more time, brother, then we'll read that one more time.
Yeah, kind. 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 25. "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things."
Yeah, a brother can post that word in the Greek for temperate. You got it, bro.
Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
As we just went over, because ultimately, you got to keep winning those ships. See, you win this one once and for all. This is like, when you win this one, it's over with. Ain't no more competing. It ain't none of these things left, man. Once we get this, that's it. Once we go on and win, we go through the season, if you will. Oh, man. Hey, let me grab this real quick. See, these little simple ones, they be powerful. It's just using them in the right time. Like the scriptures say, that's when everything hit hard. We got to be professionals at bringing these words out at the right time. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season. You see? So it's a season we in. See that? It's a season to get in the kingdom, man. You see? And in a season is seeing certain things. Right now, getting in the kingdom is in season. You can turn on YouTube and see the hopeful elect falling out for it, man. You see, every night putting the work in. Then you got behind the scenes where you don't see people, you know, the households, you know, you sisters, you know, getting it in, day out. You see that? This like cutting on, this the equivalent of cutting on ESPN and watching the Lakers, they play twice this week. You see what I'm saying? Oh, they blew them out. Yeah, they beating everybody, you know? And then you got them not being on camera sometimes, you see? And that's when you see what? A great like LeBron in the gym. A great like LeBron when during playoffs, he doing whatever he needs to win. He's putting off things, which goes into this. To see, that's the spirit. Him being temperate. That's what the video was about, you know? He was being temperate. You know, we can get it. What the brother got.
Yeah, kind of temperate.
Mm-hmm.
It says to be self-controlled.
See? Come on.
To exhibit self-government.
Yeah, he know how to govern himself to excel. Go out and drop 40 in a much needed win in a particular game during the playoffs to advance. See, because in this truth is you will see it's just like being in the playoffs. You have to win so many games. There's certain games you can't lose, you know, or you will be out. For instance, got another quick one. This is another simple one, but it's, you know, Lord willing, it's in season. This is Proverbs 24:16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. You see? So it's only so many times, if you will, you can lose. Really, for us, how it works, you have to keep winning. You can't ultimately lose. You know what I'm saying? You can't ultimately lose. Like for example, in the playoffs, in the playoff series, you can't lose 4 times or you're done. You see what I'm saying? So that's like this. You can't completely lose. You have to get up. You see that? So LeBron, a guy like him, that's serious, that's farsighted. You see that? He sees ultimately, even if he don't word it like this, he sees that he has to be temperate, you know, to obtain what he ultimately sees, what he's been granted farsight in that world to see, man. You know? Oh, let's go ahead and get this and we'll get off the screen. When you read these synonyms, you got prudent. Woo! You see that? That take you to what? Brother got scriptures, you know, you can post them. You know, this is Proverbs 18 and where are you at? Salakia. Proverbs 16. No. Salakia. Grab the scripture real quick. And we'll literally see this in LeBron. Proverbs 14 and 15. Salaki. The simple believe in every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. So that's when that's prudence. So LeBron, he's farsighted because he's shows tendencies of being prudent. You know, ultimately to be farsighted, you really have to be prudent. This the reason why you're being farsighted, because when you're prudent, right?
Prudent.
It says, you got it, bro.
Yeah, kind of prudent. Acting with or showing care and thought for the future.
See, you care about your future, and that's what people are gonna say at the end of this series, at the end of this series, at the end of this season. You know, period. So he knows that. So he acts with he shows that, you know, in his prudence. Him being farsighted. This is why it's heavy to be farsighted. Hence, kingdom sighted. you're able to, when you're being kingdom sided, you see pretty much you imagining everything that's going to come if you get that goal, you know? And also, if you don't get that goal, for example, we're going to go back to that 1 Corinthians 9, but if you can jump to what man of you basically builded the tower.
Time.
Yeah.
Yep. Count the cost.
Yeah, count the cost, exactly. You know? Then we're gonna finish up what the brother had in the dig. I mean, on the definition. Okay. So we, you know, because once again they're fighting to obtain a corruptible crown. We're fighting to obtain an incorruptible crown, man. You know, so you have LeBrons, if you will, men that's greater than LeBrons, you know, ultimately, you know, that's going to manifest being greater than LeBron in his truth, you know, and they're going to have those tendencies on lock because these are things that will be found amongst those that's farsighted, you know, that has their sight on something they see, you know, as a benefit, as a gain, as value, as the glory, you know, well ahead of, you know, down the road, man. And they tap into it because they imagine pretty much the esteem that could come out from it, you know. And since they do that, right, they, which will be Lord, it's us. That's why I says we have to, you know, put on there for is the elect. It's men that's written about that will have went on and done these things. They will have found themselves doing these very things that the greats do, if you will, the so-called greats do in these sports that chase these corruptible crowns. These particular spirits in this will have got exposed to the truth and everything out of the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? Those that was called. You see, they written to go on and manifest, you know, the same thing, the same traits on this side, the same thing on this side, you know, which was through them being kingdom sighted, and they're able to, so they're gonna tap into traits like being prudent. They looking well, because when you come into the truth, what's the main thing you learn? The future. So you either what the Lord has set before you, life or death, and whether a man like it, you know, he shall stretch forth his hand and choose. So ultimately, you know the future, you know what's gonna happen, you know we about to get a kingdom, you know the signs to look for, you know what it takes, we just went over it. They will know these things. You see? And they will go on and either have prudence, they will go on and have prudence. And I'll just say what I was going on to say, you have those that's called too that won't make it because they will be the ones that will have went on and not have prudence. You see? Ultimately, they wasn't really kingdom sighted. They weren't really far sighted, hence kingdom sighted. See that? But those that truly are, they will also not only imagine a good feeling to come from this, but also, you know, if they tapped in, they know it. If they know what it takes, but also the shame, you know, the the letdown, the embarrassment, the laughing, you know, hey, it's, you know, the Lord talked about it, that men you're gonna bear that shame and bear that fame. That's a lesson. You're gonna bear that fame or you're gonna bear that shame. For instance, he said what? He said, whosoever teaches man to do so shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. You know, as far as like going against the law or something like that. And then you have this instance. Go ahead, bro.
This is Luke chapter 14 and verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
For which of you intending to build a tower, sit it not down first and count it the cost?
See? And that's what you see with LeBron. He sit down, he look at the season, you know, and what it's going to take. He look at who they playing, you know, the things that's upcoming. That's like their prophecy. You see what I'm saying? In the world. But it's the same, but it's exactly that here. See, this is serious. That shit for play. That's just an example. We really doing what they think they doing. They really think they handling business, but they not. Oh, that's powerful. Because when you look at this word right here, farsighted, it says having or showing imagination or foresight. An example they give, it says in quotations, a far-sighted businessman. See that? And the end is, all they say is what? It's a business. It's a business. It's a business. You know? For what? Obtaining teams, obtaining coaches, obtaining what? That title. You know, what's the glory over there? You know, but they have to have the traits to do that. And what gives them the gas to go on and accomplish that is what? Them being in that world farsighted. But for us over here, for us to have the gas to be able to go on and obtain what's the glory over here, in reality, over that bullshit is what? Being kingdom sighted, man. You see, so we're gonna need the very things that it take, just like we compare. It's the same thing, just one is fake, one is real. One is real, one is imitation, one is knockoff, one is authentic, you know? And the one that's authentic is this truth. The crown that's authentic, the glory that's authentic is the glory that comes from getting this kingdom versus the knockoff shit, which is the fucking $15,000 damn gold idol, you know, basketball on the damn whatever that thing is, man. You know? But what will give us gas to go on to accomplish this on this side is these same traits, which is what? Prudence, you know, and ultimately imagining the shame and the fame. And if you want, when you perceive that really in your mind, that's going to be all the gas you need. When you perceive the fame that could come, the esteem that's going to come, if you get this, if you get this, oh man, you're going to go in. When you perceive in your mind the shame that's going to come, which we get another instance of right here, is already foretold. If you don't get this, if you lose, they're going to clown you like LeBron. They're going to call you a bust. You see? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, kind.
Huh?
Yeah, Luke 14:28, it says, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?"
Go ahead.
It says, "Less happily after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
All that he behold, it begin to mock him."
Oh, read that again. Now read that clear.
Yeah, kind. So verse 29, it says, "Less happily after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him."
See that? Just like when you lose, every time you seen, you know, LeBron walk off the court, it was just he took the jersey off, the tweets went crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's going. This. See, this the real thing though. This the real thing. This for the real chips. This for the real record. This for the real. They talking about some goat, you know? This for the real sheep. You don't want to be a goat. See, that shit fake over there, man. Lord said when he come back, he gonna set the goats. He gonna divide the sheep from the goats, and he gonna tell the sheep those that's another title. You trying to be deemed a sheep? He gonna tell those that. Matter of fact, I'm trying. You got a scripture, bro?
No, we keep moving. Right?
Man, I'm trying to, you know, wind this thing down. But hey, it's a spirit, man. Matter of fact, go ahead and jump there, Matthew 25, because I already remember what we got, you know.
Yeah, kind.
Yeah, kind. Matthew 25, you can start at verse 40.
Yep.
Matter of fact, 25 and 33.
Kind. Matthew chapter 25 and verse 33. "And he shall set the sheep on his right hand."
See?
But
As a matter of fact, jump up to when he come back. What verse is that? Start at 31.
Yep. Verse 31, it says, "When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
So really, if you're in the spirit, if you perceive it right, Yahweh Shai really is synonymous with the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? To get Yahweh Shai to be accepted of Yahweh Shai is to ultimately what? Is to get the kingdom. Is to get that shit. You see? You got all the marks. You got the chariot. You got the riches. You got the immortality. You got everything. So to have him is to ultimately have one. You see? That's why it says in what's that? 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, how it says, let me jump there real quick. Because these are very important points, man. This will save your life, you know, just hearing this information. You know, or you'll play yourself. This is 2 Corinthians in the 5th chapter. Okay. 2 Corinthians 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 8. We are confident, I say, and rather slacking, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. You see, you got men that understand ultimately what comes with having the Lord, with being with the Lord. He said when he leaves, that's the only time we're gonna starve. When we with him, the children of the bride, you know, you can't want for nothing, man.
Okay.
You know? So it says, so ultimately, the Hattie house has to have a kingdom. But listen, it says, wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. So this is the only way to get your house out. You got to do the work. You have to put off. You have to work on the things you're supposed to work on. As a man that's been called, as a woman that's been called, is a believer of Yahweh outside. You know, he said, many gonna come to him in that day and say, Lord, Lord. Right? But he ain't gonna hear him. And he said, why calling me Lord and now do is not the things I say. The Lord said, labor. He said the harvest is plenty. It's a lot that we have to work on. It's a lot that needs to grow amongst the Hebrew Israelites, man. Our so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It's a lot we need to grow out of. You know, because really we grow out of these scriptures. You see that? Like a plant grows out of a seed. You see that? We're the byproduct of this word finally being planted in that soil, and that soil being what? Our minds. You see? So that's, and ultimately you're growing out of Yahweh Shai. Ultimately, because Yahweh Shai, he's the root. You see? So I say you can't bring nothing forth unless you know. But basically, man, let me finish. It says, wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he has done, whether it be good or bad. You see? So it's that simple, man. So to be with Yahweh Shai is to be with everything, man. That's it. Yahweh Shai, the end of he game 7, man. Yahweh Shai's game 7, you know, in the finals, you know, for us in this truth. Go ahead, bro. You can pick back up.
Yep. Matthew chapter 25 and 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
Man, come on.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
Yeah,
and all
the kingdom, the glory we fighting for was given into him to share with us. You see that?
Okay.
Like a father, here, give your brother and sister something. You know? It's you. Y'all go, you know. Lord got it, man. We glory, hey, we got something to get, man, obtain. You know? He gave Yahweh Shai the keys. He gave Yahweh Shai that's heavy. Like giving your older brother the keys and y'all go. He got the keys of life and death. You know what I'm saying? He gave him the kingdom. He said, "Hey, you go split this with your brother. So y'all go, you know, go live forever." You know, but we blessed for that to be our brother. You know, somebody whose father first is on that level. The Most High Father, man. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shai, the firstborn. The scriptures say that. You know? So to have him, like, you know, you think of it, you can't go nowhere unless your big brother take you or something, because you ain't old enough, or you ain't, you know, you can't drive necessarily. He gotta, you know, be there. So he like he it. You know what I'm saying? He's it. You the one you need. No matter what you want, you can't get it without him, man. So Yahweh Shai, to be accepted to him, to have him is, hey man, powerful, man. And that's why we labor, man. And you know why? This is how we know this ain't this is the incorruptible crown. Because Yahweh Shai said, I am the one, I am he that was dead, but am alive forevermore. You see? He was sown in corruption and raised in incorruption. See? Yeah, man. And then who's going to give us those crowns? Yahweh Shai. You see? Second Ezra. Well, go ahead. So we got a title to get. Go ahead.
God. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats.
Okay, so that title is the sheep. But let's prove it. Come on.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
Yep, come on.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand,
See?
Come,
Yep.
ye blessed of my father,
man,
inherit the kingdom.
Yeah.
Prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
The title is what? To be called a sheep of his, to be called those on the right hand, and to be called the blessed of the Father, Abba. You see? That's why he said, rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but that your name is written in heaven, man. You see, that's when your name written in heaven, that's like you being in the rafter. Your jersey, if you will, being in the rafter, man. You know, your name, because what's on that jersey? Your name. But that shit incorruptible. That means like that shit corruptible. Because all these jerseys these niggas got hanging up, LeBron, he working to just have a jersey retired and all the teams he played on or some shit. Well, all these places his jersey hanging up about to be on fucking fire, man. They about to be decimated. So that shit completely corruptible. And there go all the ships. There go the Lakers office. There go your crib with your trophies put up. All that shit corruptible. This it, man. We the real players. All right? So, you know, if they go that hard, but we see what it takes for them to get that, and that same concept was based upon how shit work. Where there's a real reward, the game must have to go through the streets in order to get it. No matter how far off it is, no matter how long that distance is in between you and that reward laid up at the end. You know, you will be able to go through it if you and get to it if you are kingdom sighted, man. You know? And it's definitely a distance. You just have to be kingdom sighted. You're going to think about that shame that's going to come. I don't want to feel that. You know? I don't want to tell the Lord going to mock you, man. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be kingdom sighted. That's why he said, ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations. You see? Let me see if I can get that. You can bring back up that 1 Corinthians 9, and then we get that definition from the brother. We get a couple more and close out.
Yeah, Kai.
I got it. This is Luke 22, and I'm going to start at I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to start at 27. For whether is greater, he that sitteth at meat or he that serveth. Is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth. Why? Because the Lord had to put the work in to get the kingdom. You see that? Period. You know, he how could he be the one deemed given the title? He got the title of what? The author and finisher of our faith. Yahweh Shai know how to win. That's why he said, come and learn of me. Yahweh Shai is like reading about Yahweh Shai, learning about Yahweh Shai is like watching the greats. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to be a great basketball player, you watching damn Charles Barkley, Oscar Robertson or something like that, then Gary Payton or something. Yahweh Shah, oh man, you can put all them niggas in one and they don't equal, Yahweh Shah. But Yahweh Shah would be that great that you would watch, man. I'm trying to be, like Magic, because Magic, you'll replicate your game after Magic, try to get the body Magic got, the vision, so you could be a great point guard. Just so you can get that title of being a great point guard. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, if you want to get this title, ultimately get the kingdom that Yahweh Shah got, you have to learn of him. You need to pattern your game after Yahweh Shah. You see? And the men that is patterning their game after Yahweh Shah, which we got examples, in front of us. That's why it's an order. Paul, he said, be ye followers of me, and them that follow us. That's period, man. The greats that's getting it. These are you men you want to be working out with, man. They got it, man. Bro gonna be, I'm gonna be, period. The women, you want to be patterning you women now, you want to be patterning your game after the women that the Lord recorded in the scriptures. You want to learn from Eve's fuck ups, just like we want to learn from all our forefathers, and foremothers fuck ups. We really trying to be greater. Hey, that's heavy because Yahweh Shah said, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do greater. Paraphrasing. Because it's all about what? The following generation being greater, not worse. That's how you know Yahweh Shah real, man. If you don't learn my game and master it, and you in the new time, you're supposed to get greater, man. Yahweh Shah did a thing, and it makes so much sense for us to do works greater because the time he was in was much slower, if you will. It took less excitability for people then than they do now. I ain't gonna say things was prehistoric, if you will, because things were actually better. But people excitability tolerance has gotten much higher during this time. So it's more shit that it's gonna take, So men gonna be doing stuff the Lord didn't do, you know what I'm saying? In this time. Yahweh Shah ain't gonna have to, he didn't have to zap a nigga computer screen, He ain't have to zap a nigga, Them greater works. Go in no computer screen then. Go no damn iPhone, Make a nigga, use telekinesis and make a nigga whole phone fly in the air somewhere, Those greater works. But he said, if you learn of me, right? He said, come and learn of him. And he said, believe on him. And if you believe on him, you're going to do greater works. So you're not only you're going to get the kingdom ultimately, man. All right? But considering all these things and doing all these things for us so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, men and, women, you have to what? Simply be kingdom-sighted. All right? You got something, brother?
Lie.
All right, let's keep going. You got it. That'll be pretty much it.
Yeah, keep going on 1 Corinthians.
Yeah, finish that. Bible shot. Then we'll get the definition the brother had.
1 Corinthians chapter 9 and 25. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things.
Yeah.
Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
Yep.
But we an incorruptible.
Now let's pause and get that word temperate that the brother had. I'll pull it up. Okay, here you go. You got it.
Temperate. To be self-controlled. To exhibit self-government. Conduct oneself temperately.
So you need to have the right conduct in order to get the incorruptible crown, which is the kingdom, that new body, that new name, that name written in heaven, that glory, that fame we're gonna have. If a brother can post that, and what's that? Zephaniah. That's Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. He gonna get us glory and fame throughout all the lands. Yeah, give me that in Zephaniah 3 and
19.
You can start 19. You can start at 19 through 20. Point to 20. All right. You got it, bro. So you have to what? In order to get all of that, you have to what? Matter of fact, if you got that, go ahead and bring that out, brother. Yeah. Mar, you got it?
It's Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 19.
Oh,
Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee,
yeah.
and I will save her that halted.
Yeah, and that's dealing with the nation of Israel, the elect. You know, because the Lord likens the nation of Israel to a comely, delicate woman. Now, the nation includes what? Women. You see, so the men, women, and children. Really, the men and women. So he's saying the men and women that halted, meaning what? They don't go off anymore. Matter of fact, not necessarily don't go off, but hold on, you see, where we at? Zephaniah 3. Okay. You keep reading, brother.
Yeah, kind.
Matter of fact, okay, no, that's just going into being oppressed. So, like, let me read this. Hebrew. Yeah. Because it goes into being limp, lame, so being disabled. So pretty much not having no power. You know, you basically been weakened for whatever reason. Obviously, yeah, flocks weary with the heat and with journeying. You know, but really, that does consist of repenting, because that's talking about those that are broken, those that have went through much tribulation to enter into the kingdom of heaven. A part of the ones that's counted as doing that is the ones that's also acknowledging that they hated their lives unto the death. No, they loved not their lives unto the death. They go and set a mark on the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So in a sense, these are people that's not only disabled, obviously, which is why they're crying out, but they're deemed the ones to be disabled because they're acknowledging it. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Lord says, Yahushua said, because thou knowest not that thou art rich, wretch, naked, miserable, and poor. You have to not only, like Jake, all our people disabled and limp, but really they not deemed as being limp and lame because they won't acknowledge it. You know, it's like you might need help, but if you don't acknowledge you need help, it's like you don't need help. See that? Are you cool? You got it? The whole time you really need help, but if you ain't acknowledge, you're like, nah, I'm good. Well, yeah, okay, you fucking good then. She don't need no goddamn help. You gotta acknowledge it, man. So that's ultimately, it is going into that. So those that goes off, really, when you get into it, those that turn back and repent, you know, those that are have been made powerless and acknowledge it, you know, due to this hell, this captivity. You know, we acknowledge it. You got some niggas that won't even admit we in slavery, man. So you got all your limbs then. You good. Clearly. Hell no, my back broke, Lord. I need, you know, how Shaq said that. And you know what that remind you of? Injuries that take place throughout a season.
Right.
You know, an NBA season or something like that. These are injuries. You know, when you really trying to play, you're gonna acknowledge you hurt.
Yep.
Your knee's too valuable. You know, you getting healed is too valuable. You need to be healed so you can get the kingdom. But in order to be healed, you have to acknowledge you hurt. You see? Period. That's why Howard Shah said what? He said, I am not come to call they that be whole need not physicians, but they that be sick. Meaning, you niggas can't get healed because you won't acknowledge you sick. You know? And if you're not sick, you don't need me. And if you saying if that's the case, you're not acknowledging it. You know? Me or any of this, man. And that's basically that's what this is going into, bro. You got it.
Kind. Zephaniah 3:19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame.
See, so you, in order to be deemed the ones that have halted, in order to be deemed as the ones that have halted, you have to be an Israelite in this captivity, broken and acknowledging it, period, and then upon doing that, that's work. That takes work to humble yourself down and say, okay, I ain't got it. You got to put in work on that, really realizing and admitting and putting off your old ways. And because really, when you start living according to how the Lord wants you to live and go about things, you basically saying your way broke. You basically saying, I need help. You see what I'm saying? You acknowledging that. But if you're not doing that, you find yourself still doing other shit, you basically saying you good, man. So you don't need the Lord's playbook then. So let's see if you win. You won't. You know what I'm saying? The game's rigged. This is the only way to get it. So let's finish that up in that definition the brother had. I know we got a couple scriptures over here, and then we're gonna go to the comment board and see what brother got, and then we close up. So
Yeah,
Lord, we've been edified, so far.
Yeah, kind. So the temperate was the definition from the brother Light of Israel.
Oh yeah,
And
so there it is.
Yeah. So it says to be self-controlled, to exhibit self-government, conduct oneself temperately.
Oh man, read this. Read that.
In a figure drawn from athletes.
Woo!
Who in preparing themselves for the games abstained.
Man, you can't make this up, man. This is from the Greek. This is the scriptures talk. This is the scriptures going into. So what was that breathing this? See, that's how you know it's the spirit, man. The Lord has sent his spirit down upon men. It's men that's getting it, man. It's men that's sane. It's men that's clear-minded. That's why I said in the beginning. The brother said pre-chariot mindset, man. These are things one is to be realizing, man. But ultimately you got kingdom sighted, period, man. Immortality, kingdom sighted, man. Being kingdom sighted. All right. Getting crowned sighted. Okay. So yeah, that's all I think he put. So let's go ahead and go back to that 1 Corinthians 9 and read that, and then if anything else was holding, bring up.
Yeah, kind.
Come on.
1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 25. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things.
Man, see, in all things you conducted yourself. It says that's why it says Sirach in the 18th chapter. I'll just get it really quick. It says what? Verse 27, it says, a wise man will fear in everything, you see? And in the day of sinning, he will beware of offense. But a fool will not observe time, you see? You only got so much time to get it right. You only got so many games you can lose. You got certain things you can't go off on. You can't eat it. You got Passover coming up. You can't eat it a Passover, not discerning the Lord's body. You will die. You won't get the shit like that. You can't depart from your husband. You can't stop teaching the flock. You can't put your hand in the plow and, and take it off. You can't do none of that, man. You better get in the gym with the men going hard, man. So that it can rub off on you, brothers. Talking about tired and shit. Who give a fuck, man? Push through. We all tired, shit. Everybody in that game tired, man. You need to get your conditioning up, your spiritual conditioning. That's why you think the Lord gave more men, other men, certain people, different Israelites, different measures. Because it all makes sense. That Israelite would, that has more in measure, looking at that Israelite that has the least in measure, that same Israelite that has the least helps that Israelite that has the most or more to be temperate, to be considerate, to be really on fire, because that helps them see, okay, I need to do more. I need to, I need to, really, this is all you able to do. So I can't be doing the same rate you doing, you know what I'm saying? Like that, so it's all there, man. You really helping that man live up to his measure. Or if the other way around. And then the Lord can equip you with more through the Spirit, man. But then you will have to learn from that one that has more. You'll see their regimen, how they go about things. Like how do you have more? How do you manage with having more? Because really with having more, really the Lord is showing us different levels of management. He's showing us how to manage. Because you got somebody that can manage a lot of things, right? Easily, but they can't manage if they couldn't manage. They don't mean they could necessarily manage a little, because you might get complacent. You see? So it's a lot. Hey, we need, getting the gym together, man. How you make it make sense, man. We got a cake debate. That 11, we got a cake, we got monster side debate, man. All right. But, that's unleavened bread. All right. But anyway, finish, bro. You got it.
Yeah, it says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
Yeah.
But we an incorruptible.
Yeah. And then that's what I just explained sound like what? A team now. Because ain't no I team. See that? LeBron don't go win the shit by himself. No matter how they're saying what he does, what the fuck about everybody else? He's still on the team. But you're able to see, okay, his team is able to see, okay, this is how he's going about it. We're able to see this is how this particular individual is going about it. And his teammates is ultimately able to see this. So to where his contribution is what it is, to where he can make a contribution. That, hey, what you contributed? Because you can get cut. See, it's the same thing, man. Lord, we got a title to win, man. Esau reigning right now. The Lord ready to beat this dude. See? All right. So, was he holding anything else on our end?
We got through everything.
Okay, get 1 Corinthians 2. This will be the last one. 1 Corinthians 2, and jump to verse 9. And let's see what brothers have. So we got a title to win. As I said, I'll just get it really quick. We might close out on that one we got. Yeah, this is a title. It's another title. This is a part of the title. It's all the same thing. Come on.
Psalms chapter 82 and verse 6 from the brother Nakwayabi as pilgrims. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
Yep. There it is, man. Beautiful. So that's the title we trying to get back to, because they're going to say, but ye shall die like men. Okay? And we don't want that. We want to be like the thing he said we are. So how do we attain that? Well, we got to, so I said, here you go. You bring it up.
2 Ezra chapter 14, verse 13. Now, therefore, set thine house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption.
Yep.
Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of men, put off now the weak nature.
Yep. Here goes another one. You got it.
Ephesians 4 and 22, that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt.
Yeah, because if you think about it in the game, everybody examining their old man. You see? Esau examining the things that used to always get us. They go into our history and see the things that used to get us. So you have to look at your old film too and see, where you could be better at. Because your enemy, your opponent, because in the game, so you got to remember we playing against somebody also, like an actual entity, person or something, right? A race. We really playing against Esau. You got to remember that, man. It's Esau versus Jacob, man. All right? So in that, for those that don't know, at the end of games, right, both teams study their old film, okay? They study the film. They go over, what, the play. Okay, you could have did this. You could have did that. My little one learned this. You know what I'm saying? He used to hoop and shit. And pretty much used to record his games and show him what he did. You see what I'm saying? And that would literally help him get better. He'd be able to see, okay, you missed the pass right here. Oh, you see this spot right here? It was open. It was an open lane. See how ain't nobody standing over here? And he'll go execute that shit. You see what I'm saying? So examining is a real concept. Children get it. So he said, be ye as children. You know what I'm saying? You have to start over, man. But point being, at the end of professional games, you have each team that watch each other's film. You got the team, one team, they watch their own film, individual players zoning into themselves and what they did wrong or what they could get, where they see they can get better at, and then they do that. The other team does that for themselves as well, on down to in specifics to individual players as well. And then each team studies each other. They study how. If you drop 37, they watching all the shit you did, or if you played horrible, they watching all the shit why you played horrible, and they trying to find out how to keep making you do those things that made you play horrible. You see? And that's what Esau does in the spirit. They watch and see what the hell always got us to go off. That's why you think, and we know this true, hence, who run the world? Girls. Who signed Beyonce? That's Eve. Where's Eve found that? In the history, our history. How was Adam killed? Through Eve. You see? So you can't make this up, man. So you have to also study your old man, and see what caused you to be a nigga or less than or less modest, less humble, than you see yourself you need to be now, or in comparison to how much you may be more now. You need to examine that in regard to your old man. And when you examine those things, you will know exactly how to prevent those things, Okay, you got it, bro.
Yeah, kind.
Come on.
Finish up Ephesians 4:22.
You finished?
It says that a little bit more on here.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, it says that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt, according to the deceitful lust.
See? Go ahead. The things used to be baited into, and you know what I'm saying? Like, what caused me to be a nigga before? It was people I was around. It was, you know what I'm saying? And that goes into the scripture the brother got. You got it, bro.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
Yeah, see? And the brother that's why you got this. You got it.
Sirach chapter 37:12, but be continually with a godly man,
see,
whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, whose mind is according to thy mind.
Yeah, we got the same goal. Somebody with your goal, that's it, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, iron sharpeneth iron. Go ahead.
And will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
Yeah, and they all about it. They all in. They all, So our Lord will make cuts. Everybody on his team is supposed to be on the same mind, man. You're supposed to be hard by it. Everybody gonna have the same measure, but each measure help make up the whole balance. You see? And each measure is to, understand that, if you will. Okay. Yeah, like the brother said, checking the scouting reports, the scouting reports, man. That's spiritual.
All right.
Yeah, man. If you don't do this, you ain't gonna win. Like the brother got right here. You got it.
Proverbs 12 and verse 24
Mhm.
says, "The hand of the diligent shall bear rule,
Yep.
but the slothful shall be under tribute."
Can't be a lazy nigga. You gotta put the work in, man. Okay?
Yeah, if I could,
Please, brother Baba Shop.
yeah, kind. For those of you who've seen The Last Dance, which is the Michael Jordan, story,
Yeah.
this reminds me, what we speaking of right now reminds me of him and his, before he got over the bump of actually getting into the ship, playing the Detroit Pistons.
Right.
That they was beating Jordan out the air pretty much. And ultimately in that offseason, after I don't know what year it was, whatever year it was, before he got into the ship to go on and beat the Detroit Pistons, that year after that happened, that he was getting beat up, he put that weight on. He got in the gym, because he realized he had to put in that work to, he had to put off his old man and become a new man, which is, him putting that weight on so he can push forward and actually achieve that goal, being on topic with being athletes, so we can see that spiritually playing out. Likewise with brothers, when we, find something that's off amongst ourselves, and we need to fix it or enhance ourselves, so it's definitely a real spiritual aspect to watching these professional athletes,
Yeah. And he ultimately what? He realized what the things he needed to do and did them. And he realized, but in order, he realized the things he needed to do in order to stop taking those L's,
Uh,
And he did those things, and he stopped taking them, and he went on to win ultimately. So yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. We go ahead and close out on that one. You got point proof.
yeah,
So this is the prudence. These are the things to take. Once again we'll read the definitions, man. Being what kingdom sighted, which is a play off far sighted.
Farsighted.
Kingdom sighted is really to be far sighted because the kingdom, it's however far away. No man knows the time of day ultimately how Shah gonna come back, who is really once again synonymous with the kingdom. And if you're farsighted, you got it, bro.
yeah, farsighted, seeing or able to see for a great distance, having or showing imagination or foresight.
Yeah, you can read the what's it called?
Yeah, the synonyms would be prudent.
Nah, I'm talking about the example.
Okay, an example, a farsighted businessman.
This is business, man. Okay. Now you got some definitions, some synonyms here. Okay. You got prudent, you got foresighted, and you got really heavy one right here. You got discerning, and you also have cautious. It takes cautiousness to keep yourself in position to be able to play and win. If you out doing stupid stuff as an NBA player, you can, tear your knee or something like that, man. And now you can't even play no more. And for us, that'll be, you might do something to put yourself in position to fall out the truth, something that can hurt you spiritually, mentally, and you could probably lose a situation you have that's in your favor, that's really helping you keep, in the fight and ultimately going on to get that title. You see? So if those things get messed up, that'll be like an injury for us, which will be due to you possibly not being cautious. You see? So if you really want to get the kingdom, you know it takes cautiousness to get there because there's a lot of things that could try to hurt you on the way. You see what I'm saying? To stop that, to where you're able to play no more. See? Careful, watchful. You also have to be watchful. Ultimately wise. And you really got to be a visionary, which takes you to what? You can read that scripture you got, bro.
1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9. But as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai hath prepared for them that love him.
So Yahweh, he has his mind, you know, on the kingdom. Because that's some visionary stuff right there, which was a synonym to being kingdom-sighted or far-sighted, which is ultimately to be kingdom-sighted, what it takes to be kingdom-sighted. So Yahweh Bash Yahweh is, he has his mind on the kingdom once again, because he is he's worried about something once again that men have not seen, ear have not heard, I have not seen or ear have heard, these things that he has prepared. But he's making all moves to manifest that. You see, all the needed accurate moves to manifest that. You see, so you need to work on your moves to be able to obtain this reward, man. That's far is out of sight, man. It's literally out of sight. Like how Jake used to say it, like you know, whoever in the world would say something is out of sight. It's like, man, it's crazy. It's amazing. It's like, you know, it's out of sight. You know. So with that, you know, this is something that, you know, keep with you, man. Be kingdom sighted. All right. Keep yourself in, you know, in the kingdom aura. You know what I'm saying? We royalty, man. You know what I'm saying? No matter what Satan try to present, you know, if the Lord giving you spiritual things, like some dreams I gotta bring out, you know what I'm saying? That is real heavy, you know, and you know, Satan try to, you know, like my woman been getting a lot of dreams, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta bring them out to the body, you know. I don't think I had none. I ain't had none, but they ultimately for me to bring out. You see what I'm saying? And you'll have Satan trying to present other shit, you know, even when things that's of the kingdom and pushing this and that is gas for the kingdom, you know, it's being presented. You know, he'll try to come and keep you blocked from that. So don't let these distractions, hence going back to the beginning of the lesson, the video, let none of these distractions keep you from, blind you from being kingdom sighted, you know? Don't get blinded, man. Don't forget when we about to get the kingdom. Don't get too low, and then don't get too high. Don't start celebrating before we win, and then you lose the fucking game. You know what I'm saying? Keep in sight the goal. You know what I'm saying? And that feeling that, you know, it's going to be had if you complete it. You prove yourself. You know, that you wanted and you about this and you are royalty. Keep that feeling in sight and play off that feeling, man. You know, and also play off that embarrassment that comes if you get proved to be otherwise, you know, which would be due to your slothfulness or lack of. All right. So with that, you got anything, brother?
La.
Call la.
Yahweh.
Bahashem.
Yahushai. Baha. Rakah. Badash.
All right. So next time, Shalom. Baba Ball. Call me Ashala.